What's going on, YouTube community, gaming fans? It's your boy once again, Arachnid Soul, intellectual and voracious as always, coming to you today with Fight Night's Finest. We're going to be discussing the new thing that Sony's selling, the new thing that Sony's putting out on the market, the PlayStation Now, the PS Now. What's going on, Fight Night?
Thanks again for having me on your channel, Arachnid. It's a pleasure as always. But once again, Sony is launching yet another product of theirs that's supposed to allow you to integrate all your systems into being able to play their platform games, whether it's on tablets, mobile devices, your PlayStation Vita, your PlayStation 3, or your PlayStation 4. And I think it's a good idea, in all honesty, being able to stream games from a library, and the fact that you're going to need a good connection in order to do so. For some people, it might cause problems. For others, like me, with Verizon Files on the East Coast, it'll be an easy thing to do. But there's always that question about how much it's going to cost, which there's still no answer to. There's always that question of, is it going to run smooth? How is it going to run compared to a disc-based game? I think it's just their attempt of trying to launch that, to get rid of discs on gaming situation.
Well, I remember in a land far away, a long time ago, there was this thing. You won't even remember this, but it was called the Sega Channel, and it was basically a Sega Genesis, and then you plugged what was essentially like a huge brick into the top of the console, and Sega would stream games to you. And I didn't know how that technology worked then. I still don't know how it worked. But I know my friends had it, and I would go over there and play like Bomberman and Sonic 2 and all these different Skitchin, where you were on the little rollerblades and you hung onto the back of the car bumpers, and people came up and they tried to grab onto the car and you hit them with lead pipes. There's 3 people listening to this, and they're like, yeah, I remember that. Anyway, it was kind of awesome.
I don't remember that. I don't even know.
Yeah, I know. Most of the people are like, what, Sega Channel, Skitchin? What is he talking about?
That's before my time, people.
But it was pretty awesome. And I don't know how expensive it was. I guess people can look online and look at the price quotes and everything. But I think what Sony's trying to do here is they're trying to save themselves money, and they're trying to make themselves money. Obviously, anytime you don't have to actually manufacture digital stuff and ship it out and have boxes and actually have discs, I mean, much like Netflix, they would much rather you just stream the content than have to mail the content to you. So, in that sense, Sony's trying to save themselves money, and I think they're trying to make themselves money, because when you look at all other forms of media, whether it be music, whether it be TV shows or what have you, they're all digital now. You can stream all of it, and it would just make sense that video games, being another medium, would do the same thing. So let me ask you though. Okay, so this was announced at CES in Vegas a couple of days ago, and basically what this service is, it'll allow you to stream a selection of PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Vita, I don't know, games on all of those consoles, as well as the Sony 2014 Bravia TV. And let me ask you, Fight Night, you've kind of read about this, you've kind of heard about this. What exactly is your level of excitement for this?
It's not a level of excitement at all, because usually with these type of things, you gotta understand, these are all different level consoles. Like PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 have 2 different aspects of specs on it. I think in the sense of, you gotta understand, there's the PlayStation 4 version of games and the PlayStation 3 version of the games. There's gonna be like, what limitations will be brought on to you whenever it is that you're trying to play these different games across these different platforms. They say that the Vita, and obviously knowing from hacking the Vita back in the day, that you can easily stream any PlayStation 3 game onto the PlayStation Vita without it being any problem. But on a mobile device or a tablet, what selection of games will you be limited to? It's not like it's going to limit the console that you have to buy in order to play certain games, because I think some people will get excited for that, thinking, oh, since I have the Sony Bravia 2014 TV, I won't need a PlayStation 4 anymore in order to play PlayStation 4 games, when that just might not be the case. So the excitement from there is, I think you need more information before you can really get excited about it. Know all the limitations that the streaming system is going to give you, and the streaming that you can do from the library. Just know all the limitations before you make any judgments or any calls.
Yeah, there are still a lot of questions. We don't know exactly when this is going to launch. We assume summer 2014, later this year. We don't know about the price. We don't know about the prices of kind of the streaming kind of Netflix service they're going to offer you versus the price of buying individual games or renting individual games. But I can tell you, I don't know how I feel about a game that I bought on PlayStation 1, and I like to hoard my games. So a game that I bought on PlayStation 1, still have the disc, can't play it on my PlayStation 3, but maybe I saw it in Greatest Hits, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick that up. I bought it again. I don't know. I don't know that I want to buy the game a third time.
Well, I guess if the money's worth it and independent on the price, then yeah, it might be worth the purchase. They're going to upgrade the graphics on it. You're playing on a Bravo TV made by Sony. You're going to get that higher resolution. Who knows what the resolution on that TV is going to be at that current time. But, you'll get higher resolutions of games. Or, if it forces you to go down to 480p, then, or, 240p, it won't be worth the purchase. But I think at the end of the day, we can't make any judgments or any calls on this. I know I'm not one to get excited for stuff when you don't know all the details and all the limitations towards it. So I think it'll be an interesting item or an interesting service to watch from Sony. And just keep following the news.
Well, it's saying that the games will stream at 720p, which is really awesome for a lot of older games. I think for the newer games, you'd want them to stream a little bit higher than that.
Exactly.
But also it says that you'll want at least a 5 megabits per second internet connection, which means... And if you don't have that by now, you're probably already having issues, but really, if you don't have that kind of speed, just don't even listen to anything about this new system. Just forget about it. You can probably still take your GameCube or your TurboGrafx 16 out of the closet and dust them off.
Dang.
Play a little Animal Crossing, play a little Bonk's Revenge. There's nothing wrong with it. And meanwhile, I'll be next door either playing this or sticking with my PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
I mean...
What else could you say?
Well, let's see. Because there is one more thing I want to ask you about. How long until Xbox has their bite-off version of this?
Oh, that's going to be coming very soon. Like anything they see that Sony does well, they got to get on the bandwagon with it. They got to have some form of competition to go across with it. But the thing between Sony and Xbox is Xbox doesn't have the number of consoles and systems that PlayStation Vita has. Not PlayStation Vita, Sony has with the PlayStation Vita, the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4. They got their own TVs. I mean, yeah, you got the Xbox One and the Xbox 360s, possibly some, Windows software laptops and other things of that significance. But, they're going to have to come out with a bite version so they can compete with it.
See,
they just have to.
I think this can be kind of brilliant for Sony because now that Microsoft's heard about this, obviously they're going to want to come out with their own streaming service. But Sony's going to beat them to the punch, and this might be the thing that would make someone who, they've played Xbox and Xbox 360, and they're Microsoft fans, and they're sticking with it, and they've got the Xbox One, but maybe they do want to play some of these Sony games, but they don't want to buy a console, but they figure out, hey, I've got a compatible TV. Really, all I need to do is get a membership and a DualShock controller, and I'm in business, and this might be an awesome way for Sony to capitalize on that and pick up some of those Xbox fans.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. There's no denying that. But like I said, you still don't know the limitations. You don't know what games you'll be able to play. Because in all honesty, yeah, you'll be able to stream some of the games, but I don't know what games will be going to which devices. I know they say it's going to be equal on all devices, but I just don't see how maybe like a Battlefield 4 could be played on a tablet or a mobile device, or how, you know, Battlefield 4 could be streamed at 720p on a TV, you know, on a Sony Bravo TV, not knowing all the features for that neither. So like I said, I want to see the rest of the details out before I just start, you know, jumping to a conclusion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really do think there's going to be limitations per device.
Well, the way I think about it is, and I had those same concerns, but then I realized they're not talking about you playing the game that your TV hardware is running. And what I would kind of compare it to is, I've got apps on my phone that allow me to stream my computer screen to my phone and touch the screen and interact with what's going on my computer. And I can run Photoshop, and I can run YouTube, or I can run, you know, programs that take really good processing and need a lot of RAM, and they run on my phone, but they're not really running on my phone. I'm just streaming the content. So,
Right.
So if Sony can mimic that, they might be in business.
That's going to be a hard thing to do, especially we're talking about games here that for example, you take a game like GTA 5 that's like 18 gigabytes of download, and you got to stream that constantly with all your other devices on, and you know, all the other things that be running. Yeah, you need a great, like, in all honesty, the minimum that they give you for specs on anything is like pure trash. Like, it will run, but it's not going to run the way it should. So for most people, I don't think this is going to end up working out the way that they will hope it to. But, you know, like I said, these games are huge, and it'll be really interesting to see how it turns out. I'm not making no judgments until I see all the details.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early. We don't know. I talked about price before. We don't know what the price is. We don't know if it's going to tie into PlayStation Plus. I don't know, maybe if you have a PlayStation Plus account, maybe you can every month get some of these games streaming free, you know, or maybe you'll get a discount on a yearly membership, or maybe they'll have monthlies, or who knows. Anyway, people, stay tuned. We're going to talk about this more as we get more information. Usually I don't talk about stuff until I have information, but I felt like breaking the code once again and doing it here today with Fight Night. Thank you for joining us. Please check out my other videos. Please go to youtube.com/FightNightsFinest and check out your boy Fight Nights channel. And like, comment, subscribe, share. Thank you, and we will catch you guys later. Alright, we're done with the podcast here. Yeah, I'm really sorry to leave the store like that, guys, but I mean, this was my opportunity to do this podcast with Fight Night. What's going on downstairs in the store? You have to be kidding me. That jackass is back? Can you patch me through? I want to see what's going on the security cam footage.
Party boy. I'm Party Boy, and I feel like partying right now.
What?